Warning, the following episode of the Blackwell Podcast contains spoilers from all episodes of Life is Strange.
Hello and welcome to the Blackwell Podcast, where we love Life is Strange more than Max loves photography. So I'm Jess, and I'm here with Jamie and Joey, and today we are joined with Eclair, aka TheAwakened on social medias. Hi, Eclair.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm okay.
It's alright. We'll try and make you feel as comfortable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. So, would you like to give an introduction to who you are to people who may not be aware of you? Yeah.
It's kind of a difficult question for me, because I don't really think too much about myself, but I've basically been cosplaying for almost a decade, and I doodle from time to time, and I play a lot of video games. That's basically me as a person.
Right, so yeah, we might as well get cracking with the questions then. So, what got you into cosplay in the first place?
I think what actually got me into cosplaying was a friend invited me to a convention back in 2009 or around there.
Mm-hmm.
And she was cosplaying something, and she'd already been to conventions, so she mentioned cosplaying and she brought it up, and I was kind of interested in it because I was part of like the super big like weeb community with like role playing and all that jazz. So I was super interested in it. I was like, oh yeah, I totally want to do this. So I bought a cosplay off eBay and I went for it, and it was probably the worst possible thing, but it was fun.
Who was it?
Haruhi Fujioka from Oran High School Host Club.
Okay. Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. I have no idea what that is.
Don't know at all.
Yeah. So since cosplay is such a popular hobby nowadays, what made you choose to cosplay as Max?
Ooh, okay. When it came to cosplaying Max, I didn't really think too much about it. I'd already been cosplaying for such a long time that when I get into a certain fandom or something, I usually show my support by altering like stuff into a cosplay or buying it or just literally practicing my impression or like personification of said character and like showing my support through cosplaying, because I usually find that bringing a character to life is a very passionate thing to do, and it's very artistic, but I don't know. Max was my favorite character when I first started playing the game, and she was really down to earth, and I adored her character so much that I was just like, I need to do this, and then it kind of got out of control.
Yeah, so sorry for that. But
So how did you find out about Life is Strange?
I think about this from time to time, and I don't really remember. I can't remember if it was through Twitter or it was an ad on Facebook. But I know that the first thing that I watched was the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And it hooked me from, like, the soundtrack to, like, everything just sort of grabbed my attention. And it was hard to say, like, to just walk away from and be like, oh, no, that's just a little game or something. Like, I was hooked from even just the trailer. I was like, these characters are so down to earth, like, this trailer is so crazy, like, I need to know what happened. And then after that, I just waited and waited until the first episode was released, and I was not disappointed.
Oh, so you started back last January then? Or
Yeah.
before, I guess. You already said Max. Were there any other characters that you had an instant connection with?
Oh gosh. Okay. Probably Brooke. As weird as that is to say, I connect with Brooke on a lot of levels. When it came to Max, when I was in school, I used to try to always impress people or fit in, and that's sort of what Max does to sort of snoop around. Is she just goes back in time and puts in the right answer, and it's like, if I know the right answer, I used to do that just because, like, I didn't want people to dislike me, and I didn't want to be on anyone's bad side, and I was just kind of trying to wiggle my way through life. And with Brooke, she's just like, she's a bitch when people get in her way, and I can sometimes be like that, and I don't mean to. It's just like, when something means a lot to me, it's just like, that thing is the most important thing to me, and I'm sorry, but like, if you're my competition, I'm knocking you out of the water and just going straight for it, because that's what I want. And the only one, like, if you want things done, you gotta do it yourself, otherwise nobody's gonna be able to do it the way that you want them to. And I really appreciated that, despite her being such like a bitch to Max.
It's like super passive aggressive, and
yeah, she was an asshole, but I connect to her on like the side of me that I'm not proud of.
So do you
That's
carry
fair.
a bag of salt with you then? To take it with you?
Sometimes.
Brooke's decent. She's a decent character. It's just like, if you get on a bad side, she's just gonna be forever salty.
She's a really chill person once you get past the saltiness. It's just you have to get past that saltiness.
Right, so yeah, let's move on to the next question then. So, you said that you were pretty much hugged from the trailer, but whilst you were playing the game, what moment made you think the game was different to other games that you've played before?
Okay, this is gonna sound really cliche, I think, but it was honestly like after the first scene in Mr. Jefferson's room, right when she steps into the hallway, and she kicks back onto the wall, and you sort of like feel like everything's just frozen for a little second.
Right.
And it's like, you get that moment of clarity sometimes when you're just going through life, and I feel like they encaptured that so well. And I think that was the minute that I knew that this game was gonna like be something big to me, and that it was gonna be different. Like, I knew that it was like a choose your own adventure game, or like Telltale type of game, but like,
Mm-hmm.
it was really down to earth, and it was something I could, like, anyone even could connect with, and I really appreciated that. It didn't need like, I don't know, I don't want to throw like shade, but it was just like, they threw in like one specific element and they stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the whole thing for the whole game, and they didn't need to add like everything else into the mix, and it was really simple to follow along with, and everything was really clear with what was happening, and it was a game I could appreciate, because it was simple, but it made you feel emotions that you didn't think you could feel from video games.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too. I mean, like, yeah, that's definitely, like you said, it's like one of the first moments, but it's still like a pretty big moment. I mean,
Yeah.
Max puts her headphones in, and it kind of like everything gets drowned out by, and it's like, I don't know, like, is that what you're talking about? Like where you put your, so it's maybe cliche, but valid nonetheless.
Absolutely.
I got the exact same feeling in episode 2. When Max gets on the bus, because
Yeah.
the moment is so relatable. If you're on like a long journey, you have no one that you really want to talk to, so basically you just listen to your music and just kick back and relax.
She's usually like these moments. She's okay with like solitude, like being alone, I think, and that's something that's really rare to find in a character. Like usually people rely on others a lot more, but with her character, she was so okay with being alone. And I don't know, I really like that, because sometimes you just need that moment to like be alone. It's not whether like you want to be alone or you don't. It's just like she is alone sometimes and she's totally okay with it, and I don't know, I really liked it.
So, during your first playthrough, who did you believe was responsible for Rachel's disappearance?
I didn't even really think anyone was responsible. I didn't go like blaming anybody. I kind of played through the game without even questioning it, to be honest with you. Like I was so focused on everything else that sometimes like Rachel wouldn't even pop up in my head until like somebody was like Rachel, or I saw a poster and I'd be like, oh right, she's missing. Like I love what I've heard of Rachel's character, don't get me wrong, but like it felt like there was more to her character that we didn't get to see, and that made me a little sad, because like her character isn't exactly clear unless you like spend hours like going through every little like thing that you might have missed, which I have done. But I don't know, I guess it just felt like her whole character, like as a whole entirely, it was missing something, and maybe that was just her not being there that was difficult.
Life.
Yeah. I felt so bad in the later episodes that I didn't question it, but then at that moment I was like, yeah, okay, I should have questioned this more. I felt bad, but that's honestly how I played through the first time.
Nothing wrong with that.
So let's take a look real quick at your work in progresses and your Max cosplay and all that, which we've actually featured your Max cosplay and our Everyday Heroes before. But can you kind of walk us through like the process of constructing your costume from start to what it is today?
Well, okay, to be honest with you guys, a lot of my cosplays is photo manipulation. Because when the very first photo in the upper left-hand corner was during the first episode. That was right after the game came out, and I was like, I love this character, I need to try and portray her somehow. So I threw on, like, I think it was like a blue shirt or something and a gray hoodie. And I was wearing like this super light orange-brown wig, and a lot of it was just photo manipulation. I edited the shirt to make it pink. I slapped on the logo. I edited the hair color, the style. I changed my eye color. Like it was difficult. the same with like the bottom two images and the one on the upper right-hand corner. Those were all photo manipulations. And you can probably tell because the lines on my shirt on the bottom left are very straight. And the chicks on my shirt and like the painting, it looks too well done. So like I don't know, it was like during my playthrough I was like, I wanna get better at portraying this character, so like I just slapped on whatever clothes I could find that was similar, and I photo manipulated a lot.
Well, you gotta start from somewhere though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if like no one just like wakes up, does a great cosplay without planning it in the first place. You gotta like have a rough idea of what you want, which is pretty much what you're showing, which is great. Because
then you go on and you actually do make the costume, right?
Yeah. I wanted to cosplay Max in every episode, but it would have killed me. It would have killed me, guys. I don't think I could have done that. Even though what I originally ended up doing for my end cosplay, my main focus was studying her facial features and the makeup, and I even like coordinated some of the freckles.
Oh my god.
I studied her freckles. It was like such an embarrassing thing. Like my boyfriend would he would watch me and like I don't think he even noticed that I was like staring and like studying her freckles. I did that like all the way back to the not the very beginning, but like the top right image. That's when I really started studying her freckles. But the ends one, the makeup was like my main point. Everything else, I just sort of like, I went to the mall, I bought some blue jeans, I was like, cool, done. I bought a gray hoodie and a light pink shirt off Amazon, and I was like, okay, done, did it. And then I realized I forgot like some of the little things, like her bracelets. I googled plastic bracelets or something, and I found out they had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones at Walmart. And I ran over to Walmart, I grabbed them, and I flipped them inside out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like, it shows that you can do cosplays, like even with just regular clothes that you can find online. It just takes a little bit of altering. Like, I noticed Mac's hoodie, she doesn't have the drawstring on it, so I, like, pulled that out. I hand-painted the shirt, which was the hell on earth, because I had never painted a shirt before, so it was wrinkly as hell, but I was like, whatever, she probably doesn't iron her clothes every day, like, I can get away with it. Like, she's the type of girl to just, like, slap on her clothes and, like, think about it for, like, a split second and be like, no, okay, I'm good, and then just walk out the door, because she questions her sense of style in the game, like, once, and then she's just like, I'm comfortable in what I wear, and then she just walks out, and I was like, okay, so you know what? I don't have to worry about being like super overly like fashionable and like ironing my cosplay, even though that's the thing you should do, because it's a more professional looking type of outfit, I guess. But I don't know. I was just like, it's whatever. I'll do what I want. And then for the bottom right image, it was honestly just a makeup test that I did, sort of mimicking the upper photo, but I think I made like a joke about her being a bunny that hops through time or something. But I was like, this is cute, and it was basically just like my first full makeup test for her that I actually ended up liking. So it wasn't like in her cosplay or anything, but I love the makeup, so it was okay.
And then, did you order the wig, or did you already have a wig that was similar and alter it, or?
I had a really long brown wig. I chopped it. The upper left photo was actually a Mako wig from Kill la Kill, and that was before I didn't want to keep altering the wig. Like, I had to, like, edit it in some places and change the color of it, and I was like, I don't want to keep doing that. So, what I ended up doing is taking one of my longer brown wigs that was sort of, like, it was sort of fraying and getting old, so I chopped off the ends, and I was like, okay, this is done. I think, yeah, that's what I did, and then, I kept changing the style of the wig throughout the photos, like, as each episode came out. And at first it was too shiny, and I didn't like it, and the style wasn't exactly right, and then my makeup wasn't really right in the pajama photo, and I was like, okay, I'll just blur out my face. But, like, the shirt was the main focus of the photo edit, so I was like, whatever, it's fine. And then the other, I can't tell which one's episode 3 and which one's episode 4 anymore. But between those two photos, it was me trying to figure out the wig. Like, it was too shiny, and that one was sticking out too much, and then the other one was nice, but it also looked off. And then, like, the bunny hop one looked, like, okay, but it was still too shiny. And then I did a photo shoot with Henry, which is the middle photo. And it was done on, like, an iPhone 5. So the quality came out really terrible, but, like, I tried to edit it to the best of my ability. And, I really love the photos, though. They came out, like really nice. And there was even this cute video that Henry captured that I really liked. And then I did that one last, like, photo set of me in, like, my full, like, torso up cosplay. And the makeup was perfect, the wig was perfect, the cosplay was perfect. I was like, I did it, I'm done. I fulfilled my lifelong dream. And I was really satisfied after all that practice. Like, people just, I find that a lot of cosplayers nowadays, they don't put too much effort into, trying to, like, capture the character's features. And that's fine. Some people are better at, like, seam stuff like clothing and cosplay, and others are better with, like, wig styling. But I think that the thing I'm best with is makeup and capturing, like, a character's features. Like with Max, I put hours upon hours and, like, cosplay tests upon tests into capturing, like, as little details as even her freckles.
Right.
That's crazy.
There's only so much you can do if you have, like, a different face shape or a different nose shape or whatever, but, like, getting, like, the main focuses down, like, her freckles, that's basically the least you can do. The heavy black eyeshadow that's, like, smoked out with a little bit of brown. Like, those little things are very key points. And also, like, her collar was never, like, an actual collar. It was just sort of, like, I literally just cut off the collar to my shirt and pulled on the fabric and had it roll over, and I didn't even hem it. I wanted to do a cosplay that looked good, like it was professionally done or something, but it was actually just things that I bought off the internet and altered, and I didn't have to sew a thing. I didn't have to paint anything. All I had to do was take out a drawstring and get some Ninja Turtle bracelets.
That's pretty true to the character anyway, and Life is Strange is one of those that, you know, with the exception of, like, some of the, like, the characters that have tattoos and all that, I mean, everybody dresses normally, so, like, I don't know, that's true to the character, true to Max.
Yeah.
And it's convenient, too.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just important to know, like, to show people that, like, you don't always have to be, like, this phenomenal seamstress to, like, cosplay. Like, getting into cosplay can be an easier thing than people think it is. And, like, cosplaying, people always view it as, like, some sort of, like, competition, or that it's whoever's supposed to look the best, but really it's just, like, portraying your passion and your love for a specific character or a specific fandom. And I think that's what's more important than thinking of it as, like, I need to look the best that I can possibly be. Like, I think it's more along the lines of, like, I'm having fun and showing, like, support for this game or this book or whatever it is that you're cosplaying. It's a really good thing, and a lot of people are kind of afraid to get into cosplaying because of how crude the fandom can be. like sometimes a lot of people in the fandom are very like negative, and it's difficult because like some people will like call you out for not making your cosplays from scratch, or like it's really sad, but like it's whatever, as long as you're having fun. That's the main thing to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really couldn't say that about myself because you see a lot of people cosplay at conventions, and like a lot of tend to see a lot of people cosplay as the same person in the convention, and like people may say, oh, you know, that they do a better cosplay as Max or Chloe, but it's more about just portraying your connection to the character and how you feel and how they've impacted you throughout the game.
Right.
So you've pretty much hit the nail on the head with that explanation. So I think it's probably time, right, that we move on to the
big question.
The big question we ask every single week.
Okay.
Okay, so did you sacrifice Chloe or did you sacrifice Arcadia Bay? So it's the big Bay or Bay question.
And before everyone like attacks me, I actually sacrificed Chloe. Dun dun dun. Okay,
Ooh. Sorry.
I actually sacrificed Chloe, and it was solely for the fact that like Chloe's been through so much like emotional trauma, and I don't know if she could honestly live with the fact that like a whole town died for the sake of her, like her life. Like people, she has the choice to sort of tell Max it's okay, and getting that last word in is kind of important, whereas like everyone else, they don't get a last word, they don't get a choice. And I don't think Max or Chloe would really be able to happily live with that weight on their shoulders. Like I'm not one to say this is just like what I think, because that's a really big burden. Like you're just washing out an entire town for the sake of one person. And I relate to what Ashley said before, where she was sort of talking about like having that last moment with someone is really important. Being able to have the luxury to like have that last moment is so important. And Max for the whole game has been doing nothing but like trying to salvage Chloe's life and like keep her alive, and it's just really traumatic to go through all of that. And I don't know. I feel like that would be something that's not very easy to live with.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a valid opinion, valid thought.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and to think of it this way, almost everyone we've had on the show has chosen to sacrifice Chloe.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
my
Hannah
God.
chose Ashley. Hannah said she would. Ashley. I mean, there's a ton of people who said they would sacrifice Chloe.
Mhm.
Because
Oh my gosh, I always feel so bad when I say that. I feel like the fandom's gonna like attack me.
oh no, I've got
Yeah,
a
the
tally
fandom's
on my
not.
on my freaking desk for like when people answer the questions. So
Yeah.
We're actually probably in the majority of people sacrificing Chloe.
it's 7-2 right now.
That's
Oh my gosh.
a huge, huge.
Yeah.
Technically,
majority.
it's 1 because Christian. I put 2 for Christian because he chose both.
Yeah.
That's a huge
But-
weight off my shoulders.
Well, I mean, I think that's like, I don't know. That's one thing that I try to drive home about the ending is that it's canonical to the individual person, and you know, just because I chose to save Chloe doesn't mean that my answer is right, or you know, more right than yours.
Which is what makes the game so great, because everybody
Right.
has their own choice.
Think of
Yeah.
it like a bag of Skittles. No 2 bags are the same.
Oh my god. All right. So, overall, which episode of the game would you consider to be your favorite, and for what reasons?
Oh my gosh, this is such a hard question. I can tell you that it definitely wasn't 5.
Wow.
I can say that without a doubt. Was there 5 episodes or was there 4 episodes? Am I like tripping right now?
It was
No,
5.
that was
5.
Oh, okay. I'm actually not tripping. Okay. I haven't played the game in a while, I'll admit that. But I think like I feel like I should say why it wasn't 5, and it wasn't because of the ending. It wasn't because of the ending at all, despite like the fact that it kind of cancels out everything that they went through throughout the whole game, kind of. Like, just a little bit. Like, everything, all the rewinding, like, kind of turns out to be nothing. Kind of, not really. Like, because she goes all the way back just to the beginning of the game.
Well, I think that's a very big, very big conversation, but
Yeah, like, it was just that, and it felt kind of, like, trippy throughout the whole thing. Like, this is just my personal opinion, but it felt like, it kind of felt like a fanfic. There's some places that felt a little bit odd to me, but that's basically why 5 wasn't my favorite. It just felt a little awkward to me, but I don't remember what episode it was, but there was one moment that was like super refreshing to me throughout all of the chaos. That one scene, I don't remember if it was in like episode 2 or 3, but the scene where Chloe and Max like break into the pool area, and they have like that one moment to themselves, and they're relaxing and they're having fun, and that made my heart so much lighter, and I appreciated it so much, and that made the whole episode for me.
Yeah, so you would say episode 3 then?
Yeah.
And obviously you got to spill the beans in episode 3. That's an extra bonus.
So, do you plan on doing more shoots with Max or taking her to a convention or anything like that anytime soon?
My friend is actually planning on doing a Chloe cosplay, and we're planning on doing a Life is Strange shoot together, but I don't know when she'll be finishing it.
Okay.
Sadly,
So-
like, I wish I could just tell you guys, like, when it'll be done, and, like, if we have, like, a planned shoot or anything, but as of right now, it's kind of, like, to be added. But it's definitely something I want to do. I definitely want to do an updated shoot with Max now that I have everything kind of figured out and fiddled with.
Right. Well, we look forward to when you and your Chloe friend get that out.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely make sure to share it. Alrighty. So this question is a little bit vague, but we tend to ask it every now and again. So, did you ever expect Life is Strange to impact you as it did?
That's a really big question. I don't think that I did. I just thought it was gonna be like a video game that I would sort of connect with for a while, and then it would fade off. Like, it would be one of those, like, fads or something, or, like, just something that you connect with for a short period of time, but then it passes. But
Right.
Life is Strange taught me so much, and it honestly changed me as a person. It made me realize so many things about myself that I didn't know, like, that I could be bitchy sometimes, like Brooke.
Yeah, but Brooke does have a nice side though. So
She's a very chill human being. Just you have to get past the bags and layers of salt.
So, if you personally had the ability to rewind time, how would that change things for you?
Am I supposed to be answering this before I play Life is Strange or after? Because I mean, before I played the game, I was probably like, yeah, sure, this is hella cool. Like, I'll totally do it and make myself, like, supreme person. But, like, after playing that game, I'm like, I don't know if I want to mess with that.
Well, we'll assume that we don't know what it will have on the space-time continuum, what effect it will have.
Yeah.
So it may destroy a town, it may not.
Maybe you could be nosebleeds.
I think I would have wanted to be the person that I am today, but in the past. Because I'm a lot more kind and genuine than I was before. I was really fake. I was always trying to impress people and make them like me, and I was never happy with myself. And I wish just, like, years ago I could have been who I am today. Like, even though I'm not perfect now, like, I just wish that I was never the person I used to be, because it's not something I'm proud of, and I feel like that's such a shallow thing. Like, I could be saving someone's life or something, but luckily I have never been through something that dramatic. So I hit the jackpot on that one with luck. But yeah, it would just be like specifically that, and just staying true to myself and not letting people get to me, I think, because people used to really get to me. I was bullied a lot, and it kind of hindered me from being the person that I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I was such a weak human being, and that's not a bad thing. It's just I wish I wasn't afraid to do what I loved back then in comparison to today.
I think I don't know. I think a lot of people. I don't know. The person that can look back on like their childhood and teenage years, and say that like, yeah, I was exactly the person that I wanted to be, and I don't think that I did anything wrong and all that. They're probably not very. I don't know what's the word. Developed emotionally.
Yeah.
So, or maybe they just had a really awesome life and they were just really awesome.
maybe they actually won the lottery.
Yeah. All right. So, if you consider cosplay to be a hobby, and I'm assuming you do since you are a cosplayer, how long do you see yourself doing it?
I have so many things, like, I need to work on. Like, actually, like, get back into the... I don't know what to call it. Like, I've been cosplaying. I found out it was my passion a few years ago, maybe. And I loved it, and it was honestly one of the only things that really made me happy. And I was in like this rut of depression, and cosplaying sort of like helped me escape that. And I definitely didn't abuse it. Like I didn't do it to escape things. It was just something that genuinely made me happy, and it was something that I loved doing, and I would love to do it as a profession, but that doesn't seem like a very viable dream right now. But I definitely have a lot that I need to go back and do, because I need to get my high school diploma and my license and get back into like life now that my severe depression has like kind of been lifted slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky enough to even be able to like still cosplay and to just like take a step back from things and actually to have found out what I wanted to do with my life, because a few years ago I sort of drew because it was all I had.
Right.
And I ended up dropping out of school for some personal reasons that had to do with bullying, and it sort of gave me time, a lot of time that I'll never take for granted, that helped me find myself and kind of realized a lot of things about myself that I didn't know before. So now I'm very self-aware and I know what I want to do, and most of that kind of works with cosplaying.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'll be cosplaying for a very long time. And actually, when I'm an old lady, I want to do Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle. So I'm hoping to do like every version of Sophie. Actually, I want to do young Sophie with brown hair, and then young Sophie with like the short silver gray hair, and then when I'm really old, I want to do the older Sophie. So I think I'll be finding ways in my own way to keep cosplaying even when I'm older. As awkward as that probably sounds.
No, do your thing.
You see a lot of like a huge age variety now with cosplayers.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I adore it so much.
I mean, yeah, it just shows how big the cosplay fad is just growing.
Mm-hmm.
That's appealing to all audiences now.
Right, and there's like nerdy stuff is very chic at the moment, and hopefully will continue to be considerably so. And there's a lot less stigma around like nerdy stuff, so I think it is opening up to more and more people. So who knows? You know, maybe even you will get to do it professionally. So keep at it.
Oh my god.
Okay, so it's probably time to move on to our final question before we pass on to the fan questions. So, what advice would you give to cosplayers who are just starting out?
I think it would be what I said before, when I literally say, just like believe in yourself and you can do it, and you don't have to worry about people who are like the shitty people who like put you down or like say you're not good enough. Like, don't worry about them. Just have fun. Just do you. And if you really love cosplaying, if it becomes a passion or a hobby for you, you'll get better with time. Like, it's a thing that not everyone's, like, it's not something that everyone really wants to do, like, in a way that's sort of like a competition to themselves, where they want to get better and they want to portray the character the best that they can. Sometimes sometimes people just want to like be characters that they love because it's empowering, it's fun, it's something that connects you with a lot of people. And then people just sort of stomp all over that and ruin it with negativity and comparing people to others. And I think literally just do you and have fun with it. Don't worry about haters. Just have fun.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
And I think especially too, like in the Life is Strange community, if you're cosplaying Life is Strange, there's a pretty safe bet that you're not going to have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's pretty welcoming, generally speaking.
Mm.
Especially the kind of dark Rachel cosplays that you see on the internet.
Oh my god.
Big trash bag.
Oh god.
There's a lot of puns out there.
Yeah.
Alright, so time to move on to the fan questions then?
Yep.
Alright, so Melissa would like to know, at what point during the game did you decide that you wanted to cosplay Max?
Oh gosh. The very first episode. I think probably because that was the first time I cosplayed her, and it was within that episode that I was like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and throw together some sort of cosplay test of this character.
Wow.
I really liked how down to earth her character was, and she was so composed throughout the whole game. Like, she had minor freakouts, but like, she did not like flip out entirely at any point. And that was like such a big thing to me. Like, I was like, this girl's so strong. Like, I wish I was that strong at her age.
I mean, I kind of looking back at it now, it's just seeing her in the dark room. She just seems so confident compared to what someone else would be like in that situation. Just showing just how strong she is. Like you said.
Yeah, I think like the nightmare sequence is kind of a culmination of all that, the potential freak out. But yeah, I don't know how she did it. I was just like, damn girl, you go, because like that, I would be losing my mind.
Oh yeah,
going
absolutely.
through this stuff.
Just no point out of there.
It seems like it seems like that's how she sort of coped with it all. She just kind of like walked around everything and paid no attention to it. She just focused on her ultimate goal, which was like getting out of that dream sequence or protecting Chloe or just like doing what she had to do or what she felt she needed to do. And I think that's something that I don't think a lot of people notice about Max's character, is how, like, composed she was throughout the whole entire game.
That, or she's just, like, incapable of feeling emotion.
Oh, that's...
I don't think it's that, though.
No.
So, Sebastian wants to know how much time goes into your cosplay costumes, and how much did you spend on Max? Which, if you don't want to talk about money stuff, I won't force that. But
when it comes to hours, it all depends on the cosplay. With Max, I didn't have to spend that much time besides like painting, and that only took maybe a few hours.
mm-hmm.
But like luckily with Max, it's not that hard because I bought a majority of the stuff, so I didn't make a lot of it or any of it from scratch. Styling the wig doesn't take me that long usually. It takes me about like 30 minutes to an hour tops, depending on like the wig, as I said. With Max, although it took me a few styling types, like I restyled the wig about like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
But after the very first like harsh cut, I never styled it that big to where it put a huge dent in like the time spent on the cosplay. But I think all the hours I spent practicing her makeup is what took up the most amount of time, and the painting of the shirt. Putting freckles on your face one at a time is not the easiest.
Yeah, and just trying to get like in every single exact spot just shows the dedication that you have for this profession, and it's just great to see. Right, so Roy would like to know more about instead of your cosplay, it's more about your artwork. What are you trying to focus on when drawing your art?
I haven't drawn in so long. When it comes to artwork, what I try to focus on is portraying my own sense of self, if that makes sense. Like, I want to portray, like, colors in a way that I see attractive, and, like, I just think of, like, it's more about, like, putting myself into the artwork rather than, like, how accurate it is, or how anatomy, like, how the anatomy is, like, correct, or whatever, anatomically correct it is. Like, I don't really worry about all that too much. Like, it's up on the scale there, but it's not something that I really worry about all that often. Like, really what I worry about is, like, does this say, like, me? Like, is this what I want to be putting out there? Like, is this how I wanted to color this? Do I want to try it again in a different, like, style? Or do I want to experiment more? It's all about, like, putting what you feel into the piece. Like, I know a lot of people sometimes don't really feel stuff when they draw, and that's fine. Like, it's more so, like, just putting some sense of self in there, like whether it's your coloring style or your art style in general. Like, I think that's what's important.
So, you kind of touched on this a bit, but Zach would like to know what character from the game would you like to hang out with in real life?
I feel like I would actually want to hang out with Warren. Kind of awkward, but like he's very funny and he makes like cute like puns. Mm-hmm. And like I really adore his character and he seems like a really chill dude to hang out with, like despite like the whole like awkward crush phase. Like he seems like a cool dude to hang out with.
Don't worry, you're not the only one.
Yeah, that little like vindicated chuckle Jess gives. Yeah.
Anytime we say Warren.
Shut up.
So Melissa asks, do you prefer to cosplay something simpler like Max or the more dramatic cosplays? And she goes on to ask as well, does simpler cause you to pay more attention to detail?
I think simple cosplays. I don't know if I really pay that much more attention to like simple cosplays, because when it comes to more complex cosplays, there's only so little that I can really do, because I'm not the best at sewing like at this present time, and it's a difficult thing. I think that like even with more complex cosplays, I still try to get the best possible product that I possibly can, despite like purchasing it or commissioning it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm always making sure that like what I'm buying is as accurate as I can possibly get it, and if I have to, I'll alter something. But I think that I pay the same amount of detail to both, because it's very important to me that I portray the character in a manner that I feel like proud of. Like I feel like I did this character justice. I can be happy with this. But I think I tend to do a lot more simpler cosplays. Like I'm working on Cami right now, and it's pretty easy. Max was like the last one that I worked on, besides like commissioning or purchasing cosplays goes. And like she was kind of simple as well. She was really down to earth, so I think I have to go with simple cosplays, because they're a lot less flashy, but they're a lot more comfortable and lightweight on terms of stress, I think, which is sort of what I go for. I kind of opt out for the hardcore like cosplays.
Plus, for simpler cosplays, if you really want, you could just you could just go outside and just chill in it. If it's bright enough, just like jeans, hoodie, t-shirt, boom, done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Max today.
Yeah. Alrighty, so okay, yeah.
Eamon?
Yeah. Eamon would like to know, are there any other characters in Life is Strange that we'd like to cosplay that you think would be a challenge to pull off?
I don't know about a challenge, but I definitely want to do Brooke at some point. I love her character. I love her so much, and her clothes are like really cool. Like I actually really like them. It might be a little difficult because again I have to paint, and it's not just the sweatshirt that I have to paint either. Like it's her hair too. Like
right.
I'd either have to like sew in like a red or blue weft, or I'd have to buy like an all white wig and then go the hard way and paint the red and the blues and then dye the rest of it black, and it'll be a process. It might be challenging, but it's definitely not something that's like out of my league. Like, I really want to do it now that my boyfriend has a drone. I need to do it. I feel the need.
Well, if you can't have access to the drone, you can get one of those like $5 toy helicopters. You can just spin around.
I'll take like a cool video, like I'll strap my phone to it with like duct tape.
So, I think it's time to move on to the final question then.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Alright, so Jesse would like to know which of your cosplays is your favorite.
And we should probably just make it a general, not just Life is Strange.
Right.
Right, yeah.
My favorite cosplay that I've ever done?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good question. I really adore Max. She was definitely like very important to me, and it was definitely one of the first. It was actually the first cosplay that I ever altered or even touched up. Like usually I just buy them and wear them as is, but she was the first that I altered and painted stuff by myself, and that really meant something to me. But I think, it's such a bad answer. Like, it's not a bad answer, but it's like, I feel ashamed in some sort of way because, as I said before, people in the cosplay community sort of make you feel bad, like, if you don't work on your cosplays. But, one of my more, like, recent cosplays, or cost tests that I did was of, a shoujo character from the manga Kaicho wa Maid-sama, and that manga has been my favorite for as long as I can remember. And I've cosplayed that character 3 times now. Only
Wow.
3. And I cosplayed her twice at a convention, I think. Or once, and then I did it sometime like a few years back, and then I did it again this year. And like I'm really happy because the mangaka for the manga itself noticed the cosplay, and she sort of like complimented me, and that was a really big thing for me. So now that cosplay, it sort of holds a really special place in my heart. And I think like even without being noticed, that cosplay, even though I did not work on it, I spent a few hours trying to get her makeup down and everything and the wig styled, but the few times that I did wear that cosplay and the few times that like I cosplayed her at all, like it meant the world to me because that manga just meant a lot to me growing up, even though it's just like some sappy rom-com, like it meant a lot to me. So I think those two would definitely have to be on top tier as far as like my favorite cosplays that I've ever done was Max, because it was the first cosplay I've ever worked on, and that one just for like the sort of sentimental meaning.
There's one that I kind of want to bring up as like an honorable mention that I have I don't know anything about the lore about it. I haven't played any of the games, but from what I've seen from the source images, you do an amazing Bayonetta.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna lay it all out on the table. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, here we go. I'm buckled up. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I had never seen Bayonetta before she was released in Smash. I played an hour of the video game, and I did that first cosplay test of her, and it blew up, and I had no idea what to do. I still have not beaten the first game. I'm fake as fuck. Like, I've read about it, but I have not, like, beat the game, because, like, I don't know, it's something about the gameplay that doesn't really fit with me, although I do like the style. Like, it's just hard for me to somewhat play, because it makes me really disoriented. But I do adore her character. I love her so much. She's like the sassy, like, she's like the mom I've always wanted. But like that cosplay sort of blew up, and a lot of people appreciate it, and I'm lucky enough that I'm able to work with like mutuals on it. Both Psychedelic Paprika and Cerulean Draco. I commissioned both of them for pieces for my Officer Bayonetta cosplay. And I was originally supposed to do that at PAX, but they changed the dress code and nobody told me. So I don't know if I'll be doing that or Cammy. I'm questioning it right now. I think I'm gonna have to go with Cammy, but that one blew up so much, and I feel so bad because I haven't even beaten like the games yet. I've only like played her on Smash, and that's it.
I mean, if you like a character, it's
You put enough time and dedication to it, and it just shows that you like the character enough instead of just saying, hey, look at me, yeah.
I think people have a tendency. I don't know, not to hop up on a soapbox, but I think people have a tendency to like want to try to like nitpick and exclude people from things, and it's just chill out with that, because if anything, by people cosplaying characters that they like, even if they're not familiar with the games or whatever, it just brings more attention to a game that you like. So why not?
Yeah, there's no thing as like bad publicity. I really don't think there's any such thing as that. It's like I've seen a lot of people cosplay from things that they don't like, or like they don't like the game or the manga itself, but like they like this one character.
Right.
And they sort of feel guilty, like, cosplaying it or, like, paying, like, any mind to it at all because, like, they don't like the manga or they haven't read it or they haven't played the game. And it's, like, it's really disheartening because although I do make a quote-unquote good Bayonetta, I still have never played the game. And I find myself feeling guilty about it sometimes. But, like, from what I've read and from what I've seen, I can't help but adore her character.
I mean, I mainly because I suck at the games, but I don't really care for the Street Fighter games. But I love Ryu and Sakura, and if I were to ever get like super buff, Ryu would be one I consider cosplaying. Especially now that there's old man Ryu with a beard, and so I wouldn't have to shave.
You should do it regardless.
So my point being, though, is do your thing. If you like a character, be that character.
I agree.
Consume them, then you will be one.
Eat their brains and gain their knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, Eclair, thank you for joining us. Thanks to everybody that sent in questions, really good ones.
Yeah. Good episode.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here. And you wanna talk about what's going on the next couple of weeks?
Okay, so next week we don't know what's happening. That is
right.
We have no idea what's happening. We're working on something. It's just Joey's not going to be here next weekend, so
right.
We're not sure if we're going to be doing an episode next week or not.
We might have one come up
in the middle
during
of
the week,
spontaneously, like the Ashley.
Kind of like Ashley, yeah. Where it's another one of those things where we're just at the mercy of time. But next weekend we're not going to have like a normal episode or anything because I'm going to Oregon.
But we can say, but we will be back the week after,
right?
With Nick Schreiner, the voice of Nathan Prescott.
Oh boy!
Jeez, you're alright.
I was like just as excited.
And we also will definitely have our Everyday Heroes segment back, which my God, like, here's a little teaser. We have some amazing artwork for the Nick show. Like, the artists that we're going to be featuring, like, I'm not only getting to talk to Nick, but also just to show that artwork is incredible. So, the usual stuff, if this is your first episode of Blackwell Podcast and you like what you heard, think you want to hear more, subscribe to us, go back and listen to the old episodes. Like the video, comment, all that jazz.
Also, if you want to talk to us on the rough occasion, join lifeisstrangefans.com because we're in the public chat room every now and again.
Yeah, so if you want
to community, just go say hello. There's some really cool people in there, so feel welcome.
Let's see what else you can get in contact with is Blackwell Podcast at hotmail.com.
You can obviously send in submissions for and episode ideas as well. We've been accepting those in season 1, and we'll probably get to those soon.
Right.
Since everything's kind of dying down right now.
Yeah, we've had so many interviews.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, so we recently had our 2,000 sub celebration, and we're already up to almost like 2,500. We're like maybe 100 shy, 100 and some. Which is insane. We love you, and we could not thank you enough for doing that. I mean, it's global too. We've got people like learning English off of of our show, and we got people from Hong Kong. We got people all over the world. It's insane, and we love you, and thank you so much for tuning in and for hanging out with us every week.
Well, almost every week.
Almost every week.
We promise we'll try not to take a 3-month hiatus anytime soon.
Right.
So,
and if we do, we'll let you know.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Eclair, for joining us again. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
Yeah, it's just you've been an amazing guest. So we'll put all the respectable social media for her in the description. So please go check her out, support what she does. Just send loads of love her way.
I'm blushing. I need to go. I'm gonna start crying.
Don't cry. We're not good with emotions here. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you
maybe sometime next week.
Maybe sometime, maybe
a couple weeks.
Maybe
we'll
the
see.
23rd. Yeah.
We're playing it by ear.
Yeah.
Go Bigfoots.
Bye.